Level 1, the intern. You wake at 5 in a rented room above a laundromat. Your suit is borrowed and it doesn't fit. You ride 2 buses to reach the tower before anyone else arrives. The lobby guard doesn't know your name yet. You practice your handshake alone in the stairwell before the meeting. You carry coffee for people who won't remember your face. You learn the difference between a real smile and a corporate one within the first hour. Your badge says temporary in red letters. You memorize 40 names in one morning and forget your own lunch break. You file reports until your eyes blur. Nobody claps when you get it right. Everybody notices when you get it wrong. You eat lunch alone at your desk to save money. Your rent is due before your first paycheck clears. You call it an internship because calling it exploitation feels too honest. You tell yourself this is temporary. You believe it. Level 2, the analyst. You learn the spreadsheets that run the empire's blood. You learn which numbers get you praised and which get you buried. Your manager teaches you to round the truth until it behaves. You stop calling your parents on Sundays. You start calling them on holidays instead. Your friends stop inviting you out. You stop noticing you're not invited. You sleep 4 hours and call it discipline. You start measuring your worth in decimal points instead of days. You get your first bonus and buy a better suit. The suit still doesn't feel like yours. You buy a gift for your mother and forget to mail it for 6 weeks. You start referring to the company as we, even at home. You learn that the empire has a memory only for mistakes. You learn the first unwritten rule. Loyalty upward is currency. Loyalty downward is a liability. You start practicing the second one on people who trusted you. Level 3, the manager. You get your own office with a door that barely closes. You learn to fire people without your voice shaking. You learn the phrase restructuring means someone's mortgage stops getting paid. You say it anyway. You rehearse the sentence alone in the stairwell, then use it cold the next morning. Your team calls you sir now instead of your name. You forget one of their birthdays and remember all of their deadlines. You miss your sister's wedding for a client dinner. You send flowers instead and call it presents. You tell yourself the empire will remember this sacrifice. It will not. You start drinking to sleep instead of to celebrate. Nobody above you asks if you're all right. Nobody above you has to. You learn silence is easier to manage than honesty. Level 4, the regional director. You manage 12 offices you have never physically stood inside. Your world becomes conference calls and departure gates. You learn every airport lounge has the same gray carpet. You start recognizing cities only by their terminal codes. You forget which time zone your own body is supposed to be in. Your daughter learns to wave at a screen instead of a face. You miss her first steps for a shareholder call. You watch the recording twice and pretend that counts as being there. You tell the room it was worth it. You tell yourself that later, alone, and it sounds thinner. You learn politics matters more than performance now. You learn who to smile at and who to quietly erase from meetings. The empire rewards you for both. Level 5, the vice president. You get the corner office and the company car. You get a driver who knows more about your schedule than you do. Your marriage becomes a shared calendar instead of a shared life. You negotiate deals that cost strangers their jobs. You stop asking what happens to them after. You start reading the news for the deals you signed instead of the world you live in. Your driver knows your daughter's school schedule better than you do. You learn to apologize in a tone that admits nothing. You learn the second unwritten rule. The empire only asks if it worked, never if it was right. You start collecting enemies disguised as colleagues. You start collecting allies who are only loyal to your title. Your title is the only thing anyone in this building actually loves. Level 6, the chief officer. You sit at the table where the real decisions happen. You realize the real decisions are smaller and colder than you imagined. You sign layoffs that trend upward on a graph you helped build. You do not read the names attached to the numbers anymore. You golf with men who own newspapers and courts in silence. You learn their handshakes carry more weight than any contract. You learn the empire is not a machine, It is a religion with quarterly earnings. You start attending church again, quietly. Your name appears in the press now, stripped of context. Your children read the comments before you do. You stop explaining yourself to people who used to matter. You stop having people who used to matter. Level 7, the chief executive. You run the empire that once made you carry coffee. The lobby guard knows your name and is afraid to use it. Every room goes quiet when you enter it now. You realize quiet is not the same as respect. You realize you cannot remember the last unscheduled hour of your life. You schedule your own daughter's birthday 3 weeks in advance, like a shareholder meeting. You realize the assistants who run your day know you better than your family does. You fire the man who trained you because the numbers demand it. You remember he gave you his umbrella once, on your first rainy week here. He does not fight it. He simply nods, like he expected it from the start. You wonder if you taught him that nod, or if the empire did. Level 8, the chairman. You own more of the empire than any single person should. Your name is on the building now, carved in stone that will outlast you. You attend galas where every smile is a transaction. You count the real friends in the room and run out of fingers before you finish. Photographers know your good side better than any lover ever did. Your family sees you on television more than at the table. Your son introduces you to his friends using your job title, not the word father. You realize the empire does not need you anymore, only your signature. You realize it never needed you at all. It only needed someone willing to pay the price you paid. You start to forget what you originally wanted before the levels began. Level 9, the owner. You own the empire now, in full, on paper and in fact. The tower carries your name above the door. You sit alone in a boardroom built for 40 people. Nobody schedules meetings with you anymore, only around you. You realize the empire has become the only voice that still speaks to you honestly. You realize power, at the very top, is mostly silence. You realize silence, at the very top, is mostly loneliness. You buy things you don't need, just to speak to another human being at a counter. Even that human being is paid to be kind to you. You have everything the intern once dreamed of owning. You cannot remember what that dreaming felt like. Level 10, the ghost. You step down on a Tuesday, and the stock barely moves. The tower does not slow down to notice you are gone. Your calendar, for the first time in decades, is empty. The quiet in your house is louder than any boardroom ever was. You reach for your phone before remembering there is nobody left to update. You call an old colleague and get his assistant instead. You realize your name is a title people used, not a person people knew. You realize the levels never asked what you wanted, only what you would give up. You try to remember the name of the first person who ever believed in you. It takes longer than it should. You sit in a park on a Wednesday morning, a day you never had before. You watch the tower from a bench 2 blocks away. You see a young man in a borrowed suit hurry through the doors at 5 a.m. His badge is not printed yet. His shoes are new and already hurting him. He does not know the price of the levels above him. He does not know there is a price at all. He will learn. They all do. The cycle continues.